Good morning, everyone. So my name is Anneli Nano Consolacion, together with Cyrus Dirk Elye, and we are the presenters on collection and sampling techniques in statistics. Today, we will explore the different methods used in gathering and analyzing data, which are fundamental to producing reliable research and making informed decisions. Understanding these techniques is crucial for anyone conducting surveys, experiments, or data-driven studies. Whether you're a student, researchers, or professional, knowing how to properly collect and sample data ensures accuracy and validity. By the end of this discussion, you will have a solid understanding of the key data collection methods, the different sampling techniques, and their application in real-world scenarios. The knowledge is particularly important in fields such as business, healthcare, education, and social sciences, where data plays a critical role in decision making. Now, let's begin by understanding why data collection is essential and how it impacts research outcomes. So let's have the first slide. So when we say statistics, this is the science of collecting, organizing, and an analyzing, interpreting, and presenting data. So accurate data collection ensures reliable research results. So studying an entire population is often impractical, so researchers use samples. So to explain different data collection and sampling techniques and their importance in research, so we need to use this statistical study. So statistics plays a crucial role in analyzing information and deriving conclusion that impacts various industries. At, at the heart of statistics is data collection, which ensures that the researchers obtain reliable and accurate information. The process of data collection must be methodological and free from biases to ensure validity. So sampling, on the other hand, allows researchers to study a subset of population instead of attempting to survey or experiment on an entire group, which is often impractical due to time and resource constraints. So, throughout this presentation, we will delve into the various techniques used to gather data, analyze their strengths and limitations, and explore um, the different sampling methods that researchers use to ensure a representative selection of participants. These techniques are widely applied in different fields, from conducting business, market research, to testing new medical treatments. So the goal of this presentation is to equip you with a clear understanding of the processes involved in data collection and sampling so you can apply them effectively in your research endeavors. So now let's have the next slides. So we have here the different, okay, I'm so sorry. So this is the different types of, um, or the different types of method. So we have here the first one, which is interview method. So this is a face-to-face, phone, or online interactions where the researchers ask questions to collect data. So the interview method is one of the most effective ways of gathering qualitative data. So it allows researchers to probe deeper into the thoughts and opinions of respondents, providing rich and detailed insights that cannot always be captured through other methods. So, structured interviews use a predefined set of questions to maintain consistency across responses, while semi-structured and unstructured interviews allow for more flexibility, making it possible to explore unexpected yet valuable information. However, despite its effectiveness, interviews can be time consuming and expensive, particularly when conducted on a large scale. Additionally, interviewer bias can influence responses, which is why it is essential for interviewers to remain neutral. So an example of this method is an action is it's is an action used in healthcare where doctors and researchers interview patients to assess the effectiveness of the new treatments. Next, we have the questionnaire method. So, questionnaire method is a written set of questions designed to collect information. So, we have here, or this is widely used in research due to their efficiency in collecting data from a large number of respondents. So, by designing well structured questions, researchers can standardize data collection, making analysis easier. Close ended questions provide quantifiable results, while open ended questions often more detailed explanations. However, a common issue with the questionnaire is a low response rate, as not all participants take the time to complete them. To address this, incentives or follow up reminders may be used. So, business frequently use this method to assess consumer satisfaction and identify areas for improvement in their products and services. So, next method will be discussed by Cyrus Dirk Oye.
Okay, on this slide, we are going to talk about the different kind of sampling techniques. So first, we have here random sampling. So every individual has an equal chance of being selected, reduces bias and representativeness. For example, lottery system. So each member of the population has an equal chance of selection. So for the advantage of this one, it reduces bias, ensures representativeness, and for the disadvantage, it can be time consuming and costly. So for example, drawing names from a hat for a prize draw. So random sampling is a gold standard for obtaining a representative sample of a population. By giving every individual an equal chance of being selected, this method minimizes bias and enhances the credibility of research findings. However, in large populations, implementing pure random sampling can be challenging due to the logistical effort involved. Despite its complexity, this technique is widely used in fields such as medicine, market research, and public policy, where unbiased data is crucial for making informed decisions. Next is systematic random sampling. It is about selecting every nth participant from a list. Ensures uniform selection but requires an ordered list. For example, selecting every fifth customer in a store. Next is stratified random sampling. Population is divided into subgroups, or should I say strata, and random samples are taken from each. Ensures representation of different groups. For example, selecting students from different grade levels. Okay. Fourth one is cluster sampling. This is a population where it is divided into clusters, and entire clusters are randomly selected. Useful for large, geographically spread populations. For example, selecting entire classrooms instead of individual students. Next is purposive sampling. Participants are chosen based on specific characteristics or criteria used in qualitative research. For example, selecting experts for an industry survey. Next is quota sampling. Ensures specific subgroups are represented by setting quotas. Example, ensuring 50% male and 50% female respondents in a study. The second to the last is convenience sampling. Selecting subjects who are easiest to access, fast and cost-effective, but prone to bias. Example, surveying people in a shopping mall. And the other techniques are snowball sampling, like participants refer to others, multi-stage sampling, in which combining multiple techniques and others. Now we are on the fifth slide, in which are the examples and the applications. So for interview example, conducting face-to-face interviews with job applicants to assess soft skills. Questionnaire example, online customer feedback form to improve product quality. Observation example, monitoring classroom behavior to study student engagement. Stratified sampling example, dividing hospital patients by age groups to study a new treatment's effectiveness, and the cluster sampling example, selecting entire villages for a national health survey. So, data collection and sampling techniques are applied in many real-world scenarios. In business, customer satisfactions, survey help companies understand consumers' needs and improve products. Healthcare professionals rely on clinical trials to test new treatments, using sampling techniques to ensure diverse representation of participants. And education, standardized tests measure students' performance and guide curriculum improvements. These applications highlight how essential these techniques are in everyday decision-making processes across multiple sectors. And the last slides is all about the conclusions of this topic. Choosing the right data collection and sampling technique ensures valid research outcomes. Sampling errors can occur, but they can be minimized through proper methodology. The selection of data collection methods depends on the research objectives, target population, and available resources. And understanding these techniques helps in conducting effective research in various fields. So it is accurate that data collection and careful sampling are fundamental to producing meaningful research results. The methods discussed today, from interviews and surveys to various sampling techniques, are essential tools in the world of data science and research. By applying these techniques correctly, we can minimize bias, improve data reliability, and ensure that the conclusions drawn from research are truly representative. Whether in business, healthcare, or education, understanding and using these methods effectively can lead to better decision making and improved outcomes. Thank you for your attention, and I hope this presentation has provided valuable insights into data collection and sampling techniques.